Welcome back to Virginia this morning. Many businesses have lost millions, if not billions of dollars over the last year, especially in the travel industry. We're all facing the reality that things might not return to the normal we remember as soon as we'd hoped. In this segment, a travel expert talks about something she calls the toe dip trip with our own Evan Armour.
After about a year of travel restrictions and stay-at-home orders, 60% of travelers say they're planning to take a trip soon. And while not everything is back to normal, the alternative, something called a toe dip trip. Here to tell us exactly what that is and some of the other trends we're seeing is Melissa Dohmen. She is a travel expert with Travelocity. Good morning, Melissa.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Really excited for this conversation because I think it's something that a lot of people are really thinking about, especially right now. You recently had a survey conducted, and tell us about some of the interesting things that you learned from that.
Overwhelmingly, travelers, myself included, are excited about getting back out there and they're ready to travel again. For most of us, March is a big milestone. It's a year of staying at home and not traveling as much as we would like. So it's a really big deal. People are starting to get plans on the books. In fact, 60% of travelers said they're planning their first post-pandemic trip sometime this spring or summer. But what has changed is how they're traveling. So while you might think we're planning big bucket list trips or vacations to far-flung destinations, we are instead easing back into travel with something we're calling toe dip trips. So these are shorter trips, often close to home to familiar destinations that we know and love, that really help us reacclimate to travel and rebuild our confidence after a year of not getting back out there.
Yeah, for so many of us, it has been a full year. What kind of advice do you have for people who are planning their first trip in a really, really long time?
I've got a few tips, and the first one is honestly the most important one, which is you've got to prioritize what makes you feel safe in the short term. We've done a lot of research over the past year, and we found time and again that travelers say the safety and cleanliness of their hotel or transportation options determines when, where, and if they'll travel at all right now. The good news is lots of sites and travel providers, Travelocity included, have rolled out hotel cleanliness filters. And the same thing goes for flights as well. This information allows you to kind of filter your search down to only those airlines and properties that offer three things: enhanced safety measures, social distancing, and new cleaning practices that really allow you to feel safe as you're booking that next trip. And then the second tip I would say is you've still got to pack with pandemic prep in mind, at least for the short term and probably even throughout summer as well, honestly. So that includes for sure packing your masks and hand sanitizer, but it also means thinking ahead to things like, should I pack a lunch and food and snacks if I'm road tripping somewhere so I can limit the amount of stops I have to make? And also make sure that you're researching whether or not there are any restrictions in place. For instance, most restaurants are not at full capacity yet, and activity providers as well might be having things like timed ticketing. So if you know that information before you go, you'll still have a great time. It may look a little different than what you're used to, but you'll know what to expect.
That is such great advice and so many great things to keep in mind as we're in this planning process. Now, where are some of the places that you are seeing folks traveling to right now? Are there some popular hotspots that people are finding to be great places to be going now?
You will see a theme in a lot of the top destinations that we're seeing so far in 2021. It's outdoor and nature getaways and beaches. This has been true throughout the pandemic. It's mostly because people are looking for places where they can get outside of the four walls of their house and social distance and still kind of get that nature fix. For viewers in your area, the Commonwealth Coast has actually been very popular in recent months. So places like Virginia Beach and Williamsburg are popular now as people are starting to think about spring and getting back outside. So definitely think about those. If you're looking for something a little bit further away, Tennessee has actually emerged as the top family travel destination. And that has a lot to do with the Great Smoky Mountain Range and outdoor activities that are available to many in that state.
Some great ideas for places that are closer to home and other places that we can still get to by car. Those are some great ideas. Now, how about deals? For those of us who are wondering, I haven't planned a trip in so long. Are there any deals out there right now? How do I, best go about looking and searching for those?
The travel industry is still rebounding from what has been a very unusual year. And that is to the benefit of travelers, in that there are great deals to be had out there. Look for two things. The first is on airfare. If you've done any searching for flights, you will be surprised at how affordable these fares are. I recommend actually looking at a business or economy class ticket that's going to come with more flexibility, so that if you change your mind, you can change your trip with free change fees. Also look at hotel deals. A lot of providers, Travelocity, for instance, is running a 40% off hotel sale throughout the month of March. And that's really meant to get you excited and book trips now for travel later.
Excellent. Some smart and safe ways that we can begin planning our next vacation. Melissa Dohmen, travel expert with Travelocity. We appreciate you being here. We're also going to be able to post some more information about all of this on our website by early this afternoon. We appreciate it.
Thanks. Safe travels ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Calgon, take me away.
All right, so Evan had some great questions there and stuff that before we got locked down and kind of boxed in, you wouldn't even thought of. I mean, tell us about your cleaning practices and things like that, there are so many things, and I'm really glad they pointed out. I've said often, I think Virginia is the most beautiful state there is. I'm a little biased, but that's me. So there are places, and no surprise that people are interested in outdoor activities, because if you haven't gone out of the house in months, except for really basic stuff, you're not just going to jump right into like, woo, let's go here and go in there and go in there. No, you want to be out as much as possible and ease back into it.
Yeah, and I think, Bill, you raised a great point too. We are in such a great position here in the Commonwealth because we are perfectly placed between the mountains and the beach, and we have so many options to be able to take advantage of as we are kind of all looking at being outside. I mean, if anybody's visited my Instagram recently, it's like hike, outside at the beach, hike. So yeah, I think we're pretty much on trend
yeah.
for what that looks like.
Well, you got there from common sense, but now you kind of ease back into a few things, and you're not just going to run indoors and things like that. But some people are a little more comfortable than others, and you have to kind of adapt.
Yeah, and I think one of the things too, we did recently take a very quick getaway, just an overnight to Virginia Beach, and you got to make sure you don't move at the speed that you moved before. So do plan ahead in that respect.
Lots of planning. Can't just show up, darn it.
Nope.
All right, but here's something you can do in less than 3 minutes. Just show up here and we'll tell you how you can begin the journey to start a rewarding career.